As the days pass, the MOAS looks more and more likely we're finding out all of this great information which is going to be working in our favour. I don't want to talk about that in this video. Specifically, I want to talk about where we are with AMC, but also in the wider markets, because it is coming to a point now where we have to ask ourselves, are we really coming up to this closer than we think? And some of the data does point to the fact that we definitely could be. Now, of course, before we do dive into the video, it's important to note I am not a financial advisor. This is only a compilation of my personal thoughts and opinions, so do your own research, come to your own conclusions before investing, and be careful out there. We're going to dive into this one straight away and have a look at what we're seeing. Again, do subscribe if you can. Now, the first thing is coming from over here. Now, we could find it on Bloomberg, but unfortunately not. We're not even looking to dive into the article, we just want to read the title. It says, Crypto Crash erases 1 trillion in value, and this was published 19 hours ago. So we've seen that massive decline in the value of crypto. Again, some may say this is not related to AMC, and maybe it's not, but it does show the strength of the wider markets. Right now, they're looking quite weak. Same thing is also apparent when we look at the stock market as well. We can see that if we have a look at this graph, which shows us the correlation between 2008 and 2022, I should say, we're seeing very similar things for the more recent time frames on both of these. So this is coming from the user THKY. We've looked at this before, but I do think it is worth noting again here, because the signs are looking fairly similar when we look at this. So stocks are crashing, crypto is crashing. We know that about the major indices, and now, of course, crypto too. But let's have a look at what that's going to mean for the wider markets. And we're already seeing this having those effects. So an apparent effect of this is when we go over to look at this article from CNBC. It says Citigroup shares declined significantly after the fourth quarter profit declined by 26%, so clearly they are losing more and more money, and this is not the only group who is doing so. We're seeing some of these large banks and institutions really starting to suffer quite recently, and one does have to ask themselves why this may be. For some of them, it's due to poor plays. For some of them, it's due to things like, being caught out in the market conditions that we're seeing right now, but obviously some of them are short, especially on these meme stocks, and that really is worth noting as well, because it shows what's going on. Now, we've already spoken today about the super bubble in the market. That is a big thing, because it is speculated that this bubble may be about to burst pretty soon, and if we have a look at that, we can see an article on it from the Daily Mail. So it says, the US super bubble on the markets is potentially approaching the end, and it's been caused by COVID and the stimulus checks that we've been seeing, and now it could have the largest markdown of wealth in its history. And of course, this is coming from Jeremy Grantham, who is a legendary UK investor. He says that, of course, things could crash after the super bubble, and it comes after the Federal Reserve is set to meet next week with investors, expecting news on a hike in interest rate. This was published on the 21st, so it is very recent, and it shows people's opinions now are coming into this point where a lot of people do believe the markets are overvalued and subsequently going to crash. Now, in any poor market, in any bearish market, like what we're already seeing potentially out here on a few of the major indices, but with any bear market, some stocks do fall, but of course it does create opportunities, because that money, when it disappears from the major stocks, when they all decline, the money doesn't just disappear into thin air, right? It goes somewhere else. And of course, that does potentially result in short squeezes. We saw this back in 2008/9 with Volkswagen. When the markets were crashing, Volkswagen crashed too, but then from there, it went on to have that squeeze. So the question is, will AMC be a stock like that? Who knows at the moment, because it is speculative. But it is something to think about. Now, we've spoken about this one before, but when we are talking about the end game, it is important, crucial, and key. It's talking about the fact that the hedge funds are opposing the SEC's potential reform plans after the GameStop debacle. It's saying that what's going on over here is that hedge funds fear painful losses like what they suffered back in 2021 will be repeated if they go on to do these reforms. It's because the securities lending is one of the most opaque practices in the financial markets, and of course, to shed light on that, as I say down here, Gary Gensler wants to bring it out of the dark. To shed light on that, it's going to also put that pressure on the short sellers, etc., because if you think about it, they'll have to do things a lot more legitimately, and whilst that may seem easy enough to people like you and me, when the games have been rigged for so long, it does put them in a hard position. And right now, You know, people are waking up to this sort of stuff. People are not going to stay, or people are not staying silent. The whole AMC GME movement is about, you know, going against this corruption that we've been seeing for some time, and obviously at some point the people who are there to protect us, whether it be the SEC, Department of Justice, government, etc., it's their job to do that, protect us, and at some point they will have to listen, because this noise will not go away, in my opinion. Now, speaking of which, I think this is a very good statistic to look at. It is from the site Statista. It's asking the question, do you approve or disapprove of the way US Congress is handling its job? And you see these high numbers up here, like 70-80%, right? You think these are the approvals? Wrong. These are the disapprovals. Now, the figures up here are from up to 2021 November. So it's been about the year from November to November, but really it's still relevant, right? We're seeing these levels decline month over month over month. The majority of people are thinking that this is not doing a good job. So think about this, right? Almost 80% of people in November of the previous year thought Congress was doing a bad job. What does that tell us? How is this allowed to carry on without any reforms or anything like that? If the majority, this is not like 51, 52%, the overwhelming majority of people think they're doing a poor job, or they just don't like the way they're handling it. And I think most people as well are against this insider trading that we are seeing, as so many politicians, if you will, or Congress members are having the ability to beat the markets. How are they outperforming these big hedge funds continuously with little to no, valuable extreme experience? To be getting these massive returns, you would expect them to be really, really clairvoyant in the future. And coincidentally, they are, because they are the ones that write the rules. Very funny there, but there you go. And this is something which is getting on a lot of people's nerves, both in the US and also outside. This one's been reposted by AMC2 Moon Ape, but it is from The Wolf. It says, as an investor from the UK, investing in AMC was my first taste of the New York Stock Exchange, and God, never again. I've learnt so much about corruption, market manipulation, dark pool abuse, failure to deliver. It's scary that the government agencies allow it to fester. Same thing down here from an investor from Belgium. After seeing the same things, will never invest in the US stock market nor in US companies. Including the SEC, it's one big organised scam and bad joke, according to that user. And then this one over here, British Ape, says, well, I agree with that, but I am staying to fight with you in the whole AMC battle. And really, as you guys will probably know, I'm somebody who is not from the US, I am from the UK, and it does seem a little bit strange that this is allowed to continue, right? I mean, obviously over here people like to say that we have a bad system, but this really is just very, very awful. The way that this is blindly going on, there's so many people opposing it, and nobody's doing anything about it. It just doesn't seem right, in my opinion, but there you go. Obviously, it's an awful situation to be in. And how they're going to handle this one, I don't know, because I think the process that they're going with right now is don't talk about it, ignore it, and it will go away. Well, we've been here for just over a year right now. How long until they realise it's not going away? I think as things go on, as the markets do crash, market will do what it does. The market forces will come into fruition, and the market will correct itself. That will cause some stocks to decline. That will cause some stocks to do the opposite of that and run. Again, that's just my personal opinions. Do not follow me, as it is only what I believe. But I'm sure a lot of you guys do understand what I'm saying here. I'm sure some of you may agree, some of you may disagree. I want to hear what you have to say down below. But thank you for joining me for the video. Once more stuff coming at you both this afternoon and tomorrow. So I'll see you again then. Goodbye. Well, thank you for watching through till the end. But let me tell you about our Discord. So on your screen you will be seeing the N2S Finance Discord. Obviously it is split into multiple sections. Basically at the top we have updates from me and all that kind of good stuff. If you scroll down a bit further we have the main sections where we focus on cryptos, SPACs and other hot stocks including penny stocks, even stable growth stocks as well, and we even have a special AMC GME chat. If you scroll down you can see some research and DD from the community. We also have funny memes and you can see actual contributions from members down here. And again, if you do join us, it is completely free, link is down below. But if you do want to become a Patreon, you will actually get a pink sticker which will be displayed on your name. So your name will come up in pink as mine comes up in red down here, and that will show that you are a Patreon. But other than that, guys, you can join completely for free down below. You do not have to pay anything if you do not want to. Thank you for watching, see you soon.